into our third decade, we're still somewhat relevant and we're still somewhat vital. And I think we're playing better than ever nowadays.
Still relevant indeed, Metallica remain one of the biggest selling music artists of all time. Death Magnetic, released last September, went straight to #1 in the UK and was the band's 5th consecutive studio album to debut at the top of the Billboard 200 stateside. Now, as they wrap up the UK leg of their sellout world tour, lead guitarist Kirk Hammett explains why their British fans help make sure standards never slip.
They're very observant, as far as like the finer details are concerned. There's not much that it gets past the British eye or ear, for that matter. I've noticed that, I hear comments like, "Hey, you played that song differently," or "Why didn't you play that song tonight? You played it, the night before." I get a lot of comments like that. But on a more general basis, British audiences are just so great to play for. I mean, they're very, very, very physical, and they have a very unique way of showing their appreciation, for sure.
Metallica haven't toured the UK since the St. Anger album, a turbulent time in the band's history, only too well documented in the movie Some Kind of Monster. But putting themselves under such scrutiny was a move that Hammett now says he doesn't regret.
Well, I have my reservations about it, but at the end of the day, I would say that I think that the movie is great in that its message is really, really, really beneficial to people who might find themselves in the same sort of situation, bands or even individuals who might find themselves in the same sort of situation dealing with, other people or other relationships. And I think that's a great thing.
It seems that with Death Magnetic, Metallica have returned to the form that earned them their faithful following. Hammett attributes some of this to linking up for the first time with producer Rick Rubin.
He told us to kind of think about the albums that we made in the 80s, because those were his favorite albums that we had made, and to kind of like put us in that mindset of where we were at back in the 80s in as far as approaching the new music. And basically what he was saying is, take this music that you have in the present and put it through, if you can, the same sort of filter that you put the music through in the 80s. And we thought, that's interesting. We'll try that. It started off as an experiment. And when we wrote a couple songs, we were just very, very impressed with the results. I mean, we had to take a couple steps back and just kind of rethink our entire strategy for writing and creating. And we took that strategy and applied it to all the rest of the songs, and we got glorious results. And that's pretty much how Death Magnetic came about.
The world tour continues. Meanwhile, Metallica will cement their place in rock history, joining the likes of Black Sabbath and AC/DC when they are inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame later this year.